Right, everyone, we're on a bit of a complicated one today. One Shrovetide or Shrovetide, or I've heard it in multiple different ways pronounced. But what is it? So basically, it's 40 days before Easter, but you have to exclude the Sundays. So it's 40 days taking out the Sunday. So 6 days, 6 days, 6 days until you get to 40. It can start anywhere from early February and move on to sort of early to mid-March. It depends because, of course, the dates change every year. So there isn't a specific date. You just know in February at some point or early March, you're probably going to be doing Pancake Day and Ash Wednesday and things like that. So let's go through it. So basically, what does the word mean? The word is about being shriven and getting absolution, which are Christian terms basically, and about part of the preparation for understanding that Jesus Christ died at Easter. So you're preparing yourself for Lent. You're going through a holy purge, if you like, and it's a lot of it is about fasting. And by fasting we mean not eating specific things. It isn't about not eating anything. Some people misunderstand this, that you don't eat anything for 40 days. That's not true. It means you restrict what you eat. One question I can't seem to answer is the fact that on those Sundays that are taken out, can you eat whatever? But mainly it's things like eggs, milk, meat. A lot of that is stripped out of the diet, and traditionally people would eat fish and different types of things like that. So basically getting rid of all the rich food from your diet, and going through a period of, your body stripping itself. Now, to be honest, it's probably a really good health benefit. Imagine if you repackage that today and said, like, I'm going to do a 40-day non-toxic detox and all that, people would be all over it. But if you say I'm going to do Lent, people are like, what are you on about? So basically, this Lent is the time between Ash Wednesday up to Easter. That's it, and it fits in somewhere there. So what do we do as we get to this place? Most of the 40 days or 40 plus days is actually not doing much. You sort of we'll go through what happens in other videos, but on the whole, you're sort of like stopping gambling, stopping eating things, stopping playing games, stopping having fun, and just preparing yourself for the Lord's feast and everything. Now, I've got it here. Basically, you can't have any weddings in this time. You can't have any sex in this time. You can't do any gambling in this time. You've got to restrict the food you eat, and you've got to basically prepare yourself. Nowadays, of course, people just say, oh, I'm giving up a bar of chocolate for Lent, or I'm giving up, I don't know, alcohol for Lent or something like that. Even less than that, I'll be giving up, spitting for Lent, or whatever they do, whatever somebody's vice is, they will say, oh, I'll give up that. Very few people give up smoking for Lent, because then you probably just give up smoking. But anyway, so it starts with the week before, or the week running up to Ash Wednesday. Now we'll get onto why it's called Ash Wednesday soon, but basically it all starts with it's like a Collop Monday. So I've got my notes here, so please excuse me. But basically, on the Monday before Lent starts, you're meant to have ham and eggs. So you have a dinner of ham and eggs, and that's your meal, your main meal for the day. Now, the next day is Pancake Tuesday, or Shrove Tuesday, again from the word shriven and absolution. And basically, what you're doing on that day is eating all the eggs you possibly can to get rid of them all, because you can't eat them in Lent, and of course they're going to go off. Now, meat at this time normally was hung up in the inglenook. I'm pointing to my inglenook, and it was smoked, so you got the meat would probably last. It was either salted or smoked or packaged in brine, so it wasn't a case of you got to quickly eat any meat you've got. No, and the people did eat meat. It does me head in that when they talk about the past and nobody had anything, and it was like, I think they did. So basically, you're looking at getting rid of all the eggs, because they're not going to last 40 days. So what you do is you make pancakes. So of course you've got flour, because it was a medieval times, a bread-based society, so you mainly got bread every day. This idea of everybody ate potatoes is only midway through the second millennial thing. Remember, most of the time you ate bread, all the way back to the Neolithic, when people were like, hey, this stuff makes bread. Do you know what I mean? So what we've got here is you've got your bread, but you're getting rid of your eggs and your cheeses and your milks and your dairy. So you make a big vat of pancake mix, which of course is flour, eggs and milk. And then you've got the frying pan over the fire, and you've got to put your stuff in. Now it goes, oldest first gets theirs, except the mother, who just cooks. So it'd probably be the father, then the oldest son, and then it'd go down. And traditionally there used to be a bell on Pancake Day. This was probably the church bell, called the Pancake Bell. And what you could do today is just ring a bell. I've got one there for ringing, so we'll ring the bell. And on this day, it's games galore. Pancake races, egg and spoon races, football games are very popular. Now, football, what you don't find, which is bizarre, is football games in old medieval films. Like, you know, you get knights and everything, you put a football in, you're like, what? Actually, they all used to play football village to village. It was similar to what we know today, but without any rules, basically. It was like there's a goal at one end and a goal at the other, whatever that goal was, however it was structured. And the two villages over there and the villagers from that village would just scrap and get the ball to the opposite end. So whichever way, I don't know whether they returned it to their goal or put it to the other one. So then, what happens is on Pancake Tuesday, there's festivities, music, dancing, games, and you have to then stop, because on Ash Wednesday, it's a solemn day. And Ash Wednesday used to be practiced all over UK and Europe, basically. I think Europe, because it was Catholic. And the idea is you get palm leaves and you burn them, because it's obviously very much connected to the story of Jesus, and you burn them, you mix them in an oil, and you put the sign of a cross, and sometimes people have a palm leaf. But basically Ash, and it means you'll return to Ash. You will, of course, die and all of that malarkey. You'll go on to heaven one day. So, you know, and then you give thanks for everything, and then you start Lent, which is, again, 40 days, missing out the Sundays. But I don't know whether you had to abstain from all these things on those Sundays that are not counted. I just can't seem to get it. And one of the so other games are like throwing at cocks and cockfighting, which is a bit weird. Probably you can't do that today. But basically, you used to get sticks and leather them at cockerels until they died. Or get cockerels to fight till they die. Again, strange one. Football, cockfighting, drinking, partying, pancakes, racing, all that happens on Shrove Tuesday. So, and then it's solemn, let's be very good. And even there's reports that even card players, which apparently everybody was a card player, everybody used to play cards in the pub and at home, would all stop, and packs of cards would go away until after Lent. So you're not meant to do anything, sort of no sex, no gambling, no anything during Lent. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you've got any answers to my problems below, and I hope you're keeping up with the playlist.